is required to create live broadcast. What? It's not letting me go live on Twitter.
Set up the reels for nothing.
I don't know. There's someone named Lee who's saying yay.
Hi, Lee.
Oh, that was from 8:30 though. Never mind.
It is
Okay, I think we're live. Okay, we're live. We're not live on. We're not live on Twitter though because.
No, you got to be premium. Or
you got to be premium.
You're not important enough.
That must be brand. That must be brand new though. That must be brand new.
Yeah, it is. It's. I have to make an article
great
for
on
work.
Instagram, by the way. We look so good on Instagram. This is we are live on Instagram. We're going vertical because why not? You guys here. I don't even have to say comment.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We're like, what do we do?
Oh my God, conjoined twins. You can't put me in this type of situation, Jeff.
We are shooting vertical today. We're just trying it. I don't know. I gotta get used to it. I don't know where.
You put us all in boxes. It's very distracting. I don't even remember what we're talking about today now.
I don't even know. So I'm just going to lean like this. That's how I'll stay in frame. And what's up, everybody? Welcome to Crossing the Streams, where we answer the universal question, what should I be binge watching next? I just watched something, and now I got to watch something else. Well, you've come to the right place, because between the four of us, we have over 100,000 binge watching hours experience between us. We span 12 countries and 17 continents. This is one of the greatest things ever. We got a group you wouldn't believe today. We got the VHS Club is back. Oh, my God. Katie and Natalie, what's up? Second time on the show. It makes you regulars. It's exciting. And, of course, Mick Manhattan, a new regular on the show. Bringing the heat. Bringing the heat. We got Lee. What's the? Oh, look at that! They put it at the top.
Whoa.
Oh, I like this. This is fancy. Hey, Lee, what's going on? Dale Andrews, what's up? Saying hi to Mick. Apparently doesn't see the rest of us. That's all right. That's all right.
Okay, fine, Dale. That's fine.
What's up? What's going on? I gotta say, I don't know what this looks like on YouTube. I'm dying to know.
I am looking at it currently on YouTube.
Are we in shorts? Are we currently?
No, it's not shorts. It's just condensed like this.
So now we just look really bad on YouTube.
Vertical streaming. It's very
but we look good on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice looking at it on YouTube like this. If I'm being honest, like it's not that bad. Like it's kind of.
But is it like? Are we like just in the middle?
Yeah, you're just like this. How we're looking at it right now. It's all white. The screen. There's something very like calming about it.
All right. Well, we'll try. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. We got this one episode that we're gonna do. Of course, this is when no one decides to show up on Instagram, but that's all right. That's all right. Whatever.
It's because like, this is weird. This isn't the normal look.
I know.
They're just scrolling right past. They don't even know where the show is.
I got kind of thrown off that I couldn't go live on Twitter. I
know it happened to me earlier too, and I am a premium member, so I'm kind of annoyed.
Oh, you are a premium? I refuse to. I kind of refuse to pay. Well, I pay for a lot of things. Well, look, I'm OG Twitter. I'm OG Twitter. I mean, I used to be verified, legit on Twitter, and I won't pay for it. It's just there's something about it. I can't do it.
I'm not on Twitter. I'm on X.
He just Elon just put out a thing that he was like, should I go back to Twitter? Twitter, and it was
he's just bored. He's so bored. He doesn't know what to do with his time.
He bought this thing as a tantrum.
Yeah,
and now he's pissed.
Well, he kind of wanted it and then backed out. Let's not forget. And then everyone made him
forced him to take over. It's everyone's
do this. Yeah. This is. I can't believe we're not live on Twitter. I wish I could go on YouTube, but then it would be loud. Anyway, let's talk. There's a few things we have to talk about before we get to our shows, and we got some good shows today. But I would like to address the fact that everyone died this past week. Shelley Duvall, Shannon Doherty, Richard Simmons, and Dr. Ruth. It was a rough week.
And Richard Simmons?
Yeah, and Dr. Ruth.
I missed that.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, we have an exclusive. Natalie Burnett is first learning.
I do not want to tell you what happened on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. I will say, and we're not here to make fun of any of the events, but what did go through my head after the attempted assassination, and it's really not just that. I'm not here to talk about that, but like just anytime there's a news cycle when they only have that 7 minutes of information that they keep recycling, you know what I'm saying? And it was like anytime that happens, and it was this or anything, it was like, have you seen the video? Buckwheat has been shot. Have you? You guys don't even know what I'm talking about. It's a
I
classic.
do. It's the SNL episode.
It's a
where
classic
they're
Saturday
covering-
Night Live skit where Buckwheat shot,
Yeah.
and they
No.
just keep replaying the video. over and
Jeff,
over.
my favorite part of that whole sentence was it was just going through my head.
It was every time I was like, anytime something like crazy news cycle just keeps recycling, all I hear in my head is Buckwheat has been
Or
shot.
the way you said it.
This is why
Have
I
you-
don't binge
I
watch
mean,
the news. This is the one
okay.
thing I do not binge watch.
Like,
I
as
just
a
ignore.
Katie,
As a
have you seen the
Canadian,
video?
I
Let's
have
watch
not seen the video.
I
I'm
have.
actively ignoring all news from now until the
As a
distant
Canadian,
future.
I did think immediately, like, he is a well-known fan of the WWE. And like those little, anyways, I'm like, that looks
Well-
familiar. I've seen that happen before. That's cool. Good for you.
So anyway,
Love-
so
The limo's gonna blow up afterwards.
It's,
It's a real quick cut with Vince McMahon getting in.
anyway, we're gonna move away from this. We already lost Tenacious D over this. We don't want anything to happen to us. And so, okay. So what do we got? All right. So Shelley Duvall, favorite Shelley Duvall role? Katie.
Okay.
Or
Oh
anyone.
my gosh.
When
I'm gonna go-
Stanley did,
I didn't know
she-
I didn't know there was an answer other than olive oil.
Shining.
I was gonna say I thought it was The Shining, but okay.
I mean,
you go
She,
on.
I mean-
she was relentlessly tortured on that set. Let's give it
Yeah,
to
I
her.
said
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, when
It can't be your
Kubrick
favorite.
tortured her forever. I'm like,
your most
no, but it's
enjoyable
iconic.
favorite Shelley Duvall. Okay, favorite sex tip from Dr. Ruth. Mick. No, I'm just kidding.
She's 1986. I was 4.
Fantastic though. I mean, like
She was
iconic.
funny.
A
She was
total
great.
badass.
And then Richard Simmons. Sweating
Did he
to the,
wear
who
a
didn't sweat to
headband?
the oldies? Who didn't
Oh
sweat
wait,
to
I
the
have
oldies?
one for Dr. Ruth. Put on a
Hmm.
condom.
Yep.
There you
I
go.
was
That
gonna
was a
say
Dr.
the
Ruth tip,
80s.
yeah.
She was very big about that.
You got to
Yeah.
say it like you put on the condom.
Oh, I want to re-listen or rewatch some of Dr. Ruth.
I
That's
loved her
great.
because she talked about women's health, and it's something we still don't like to talk about.
Yeah,
So
we need
that
more
was
Dr.
pretty
Ruth in
badass.
the world.
Pretty
Yeah.
badass.
Totally agree.
And then Shannon Doherty. That one is so young. I didn't realize. I don't know, for some reason I thought she was older, like a little
I thought
older.
she would beat this. I know that they said that she had stage 4 cancer, and I was like, yeah, but it's Shannon Doherty. She'll be fine. And then
Yeah.
when the news hit, I was like, this sucks. It just sucks. I don't.
Didn't a few months ago we just find out that she wasn't the like mean girl on set, and it was
Yeah,
somebody
she was
else?
like actually
and
wonderful.
she totally got vindicated, and I was like, finally! And oh man,
like
she
how-
barely got to see that.
Alyssa Milano was pissed about that. And now
Yeah, but
you're not going to
everybody
say
said
anything.
so.
Yeah, now you're not
Not
going to
gonna
say
say a
anything.
word.
Yeah, exactly. Now you get
You
nothing.
don't say, yeah. So all right. Well, the in memoriam section is now complete. All right. So what do we got? All right. So we last week we had some. Oh, here's another. I can't read the videos now because they're so small.
Squint and
Axel
look
F.
small.
Beverly Hills Cop,
Maxwell,
Axel F.
Maxine, Back in Black, or not
Yeah.
Back to Black, or whatever
Back
it
to
is.
And then,
Black,
and then it was
And-
some.
I don't remember what the hell that one is.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was an animation one that Zach did.
Sorry, Zach.
But today we're doing Fly to the Moon, Twisters, and Independence Day. So a lot of things in space and fast moving air
Yeah,
is our theme today.
good theme.
Yeah, just we didn't mean it to do that, but it just sort of happened that way. We're gonna start with Mick. We're gonna kick things off with Mick.
Of course, 'cause
Fly
nobody
Me
wants to
to
talk
the
about
Moon.
flying to the moon.
Well, because we got to do Twister, then Twister. We got to do those in order. So
Those need to be in order.
I
yeah.
can't go
Yeah.
first. So we got to do Fly to the Moon.
I'm even going to get centered for this. So Fly Me to the Moon, starring Scarlett Johansson, who very much steals the show in this movie, and Channing Tatum, who is there. Also has Woody Harrelson and the dude from Everybody Loves Raymond, Ray Romano, I think his name is, and some other people. It's fun. It's tells the tale of what NASA was trying to achieve through PR work 9 months before the moon landing. They were running out of money. They had no support. And the president Nixon desperately wanted this to go through so he would look better in the press. So he elicits the CIA to hire Scarlett Johansson, who is a con man who turned advertising executive. That's never, it is what it is. They never really get into it. But so she goes down to Cape Canaveral to help them get sponsorship, build up the press for NPR for NASA and the space launch 55 years ago this year, by the way, which is awesome. But not this movie, not so much. It's a fun romantic comedy in a sense. Like they play pretty good together. Channing Tatum just is very dry in most things. He just is. It's not that I don't like him. He's better in comedies. He just wasn't that great in this. In the movie, it's telling the tale of like her recording the space landing while it's actually happening. They're basically saying like, we were doing it just in case. Nobody in this movie was real. This is a completely made up story by Greg Berlanti, probably, because that guy, he's great stuff. But this movie was just boring for the most part. Like if you like romantic comedies, you might enjoy it because it has some moments. But overall, I didn't feel the chemistry. It just wasn't a lot of fun. And I still don't get why we had to make a movie about a fake moon landing. And I'm just going to spoil it for you. It like doesn't go through and the real moon landing happens. It's like, what's the point of this? Why are you doing this to me? Like, why are you telling me we're going to fake a moon landing just in case it doesn't work with the real one or the cameras don't work or whatever? No.
I thought this movie was like a parody conspiracy movie where they fake the moon landing.
That was my thought as well. Actually, I'm learning a lot today.
Why they wouldn't do that? I mean, if you're gonna do it, like there's a base for that, right? I think it's stupid to do it for Hollywood to make a movie that's like a romantic comedy about the fake moon landing. To me, that there's some bad taste about that. But the fact that they did this is even worse because it's like pandering, but it's like pandering to conspiracy theorists, but at the same time pandering to everyone else. And it's like it doesn't work. Like the fact that she is filming the moon landing, like there's literally a scene where they have to make the CIA agent watch the fake moon landing, thinking it's the real moon landing. While he's in, I'm not even explaining it right because it's just too stupid. I'm talking myself down on points on this movie. Why did you invite? I told you I saw other movies, Jeff.
Well, this movie bombed at the box office.
I understand why.
And it seems though that this movie was made. I saw this on a TikTok. This movie was made by Apple TV, and who also made Flowers of the Killer Moon. And so their model isn't necessarily to make, I guess, money on these because they. Well, because they can get some buzz and then bring them onto their platform.
Oh,
it looked cute. It looked cute. I gotta say,
it's not. It's. I mean, like Scarlett Johansson she was fun in it, so she played a good role. But it was still like, what are you in right now? You know, I don't know. And there's so many people she has great chemistry with. It didn't work between her and Channing Tatum for me.
I honestly don't know the last time I've seen Channing Tatum have good chemistry with anybody.
Yeah, he's just sort of on his own.
Like that Sandra Bullock, like the Romancing of the Stone quote unquote remake, which was god awful in my opinion.
Ugh.
Like Sandra Bullock had no chemistry with Channing Tatum. How do you not have chemistry with Sandra Bullock?
How do you mess that up?
I don't know. Yeah. So I guess
it's so weird.
I don't know. The plot sounds weird. The casting looked odd to me. I'm like, Scarlett Johansson with Channing Tatum? I'm like, okay, why?
And then the plot.
Well, he married his co-star once, so he must have had.
That's a Hollywood
that-
trope, though. That's like everyone marries their
Well, they did
co-star.
have chemistry, but
Yeah.
that was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
And it was a dance movie, so it didn't need a lot of
Yeah,
acting
just
either.
let him dance. Just let him dance and
Let's just get
Well,
another
Michael-
Magic Mike,
Magic
another
Mike.
Magic Mike trilogy going, and we're
Yeah.
good to go.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
It is funny that so do you remember that James Bond movie with Denise Richards where she plays like the astrophysicist?
yeah.
Dr.
Is she
Christmas,
mispronounced
or-
astrophysicist? Yeah,
It was
Yeah,
like
she was
Dr.
like-
wasn't her name Dr. Christmas?
Not
or
that
something?
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
It's just that it was like the way they played it. It doesn't make sense. Like she's not playing it like a scientist.
Yeah.
That's exactly how Channing Tatum was in this movie. He's like the
Love it.
director of operations of all the engineering in NASA, and like he's the one making the spaceship to put him out. And I'm like, it doesn't like all I picture is 21 Jump Street when he's like, "Fuck you, science."
Well, how do you,
You're like,
how,
you
many,
can't be
how many
both.
real scientists do you know in real life?
How
I
many
know
do
a
I know?
lot.
Real
Yeah.
scientists? I know real scientists.
You know real
I-
scientists that have made moon landings?
No,
No,
but
I
I
don't
work
know.
in research
Nat knows
at a
scientists,
university. I literally only work with scientists. Yeah, I don't.
Right, I'm saying
Go
so.
watch this movie and then tell me if you think that Channing Tatum fits the mold of scientist. Okay, I'm not saying he couldn't be a scientist, Jeff. You're going to argue.
I'm
It's
just
not
saying.
a personal attack.
I'm just saying that I
actor, do
sometimes.
you think that he has the chops to play the head of operations of engineering of NASA? I don't.
Well, but you're making the assumption that everyone who has a major corporate job who's a CEO deserves or it should have that job.
They
And
should
is-
if it's
and-
the moon
and is-
landing, the
and is
first one
brilliant.
ever.
I guess what I'm saying is you're judging Chatham. What's his name?
It's his name, right?
This is devolved so
You're
fast.
judging him based on
guy.
what you believe from movies is what a head of scientists should be.
Listen, you want to
Maybe
be
it's
woke, be woke
actually
on your own
Channing
time. He did
Tatum.
not pass as
Maybe
a
it's-
scientist.
Maybe it's actually him that's a scientist. Maybe it's just like a Matthew McConaughey guy. If he was a scientist, you'd be like, all right.
I also would not believe him as a scientist. Just saying. I don't.
What if he
I-
came in all like, all right, E equals
Nope.
MC square?
He was
He
a pretty
al-
good lawyer. I'll give him that.
Do you know how
He-
creepy that
he's a
reference
good lawyer.
actually is?
He was a good lawyer.
Do you know that
Oh,
that
God.
reference just gives women the ick?
He makes me just. He's Texas
He's
Chainsaw
talking about
Massacre
sleeping
and
with
everything.
underage women in that.
All right.
Yeah.
You know,
All right. Nick, stop picking bad movies. All right.
Poor Matthew McConaughey and Channing Tatum. We're just not happy with them.
Listen, I like
sorry-
Channing Tatum
sorry,
in
famous
comedies,
actor.
but not as a scientist.
All right. What we're about to do has never been done before, which is go back to back. Actually, we did it in the last two
You
episodes.
did it with Top
but-
Gun and Top Gun.
Yeah, no.
No,
This
it's
is
new. It's
This
new.
has never happened before where there's been a movie and then a sequel to that movie. This is the first coverage of a sequel in the history of of any kind of show. This is
Let's save
groundbreaking.
Independence Day for next week. and I'll
We're
do
breaking
research.
ground here.
Breaking
It's-
news.
This is Twister. And just spoiler, there's a sequel called Twisters. We're going to cover that next. I know you're like, this has never been done. I know. I know.
By the way, can I just say, you guys, and for everybody watching and listening, check out the VHS Club podcast. It's a great podcast, especially if you
you.
love the 80s and 90s movies. Your Twisters review was very cool.
thank
Really,
you.
It was so cool. I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's why. So we're gonna tie it in. So you're gonna give the tease, and then we're gonna plug the whole episode. That was the end of this thing. That was
Oh,
the
Yeah.
whole
Nick, you-
purpose,
you
man.
just-
listen, I'm no scientist. I put the Mac wherever I
Jump
want.
the shark.
Jump the
Mick,
shark,
Mick
yeah.
is no scientist.
Mick,
right?
Mick should not play a scientist in a movie either. Unless it's a guy who has a clipboard in the background checking dials.
This is
I
my
can do
favorite
that.
Episode.
right.
This is hands down my favorite. All right.
All
let's
right,
continue.
Nat, who works with scientists, is going to talk about Twister and go. Let's do it.
So Twister 1996, as starring Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton and Jamie Gertz, is a movie about storm chasers. Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt who are getting a divorce-ish. And he comes to his hopefully soon to be ex-wife, but obviously never going to be his ex-wife, to get the divorce paper signs, brings his new fiance, who is sort of like the moral compass, like the everyman representation in this movie. And she gets swept up into their storm chasing and freaks out. What was the review that we had, Katie? That it's about two storm chasers, meteorologists who treat their staff really badly
by putting them in staff really badly and put everyone in danger
constantly. And that's basically what the movie is. But
for the greater good, Nat.
Yes, for the greater good.
It's okay.
So the
apparently
movie
not a sequel.
Yeah, apparently not. They solved nothing.
So the movie's sort of idea is they want to figure out what is inside of a tornado, what a tornado is made of, because tornadoes are obviously very destructive. And interestingly enough, now in 2024, it's becoming quite commonplace to have tornadoes, hurricanes, derechos in areas that never had them before. So we're all kind of learning in this climate boiling point how to deal with these things. So it's kind of fun that we did this movie. There's a new one, and we had a meteor. Yeah, we're all living it now. We had a meteorologist come on our podcast to discuss it. Jennifer Ast from Stormfront Freaks, who brilliant, beautiful, charismatic, and she's not just a meteorologist, but also a storm chaser. So very exciting. And she was explaining how in the movie Twister, the science was very, very accurate. And it was just 2 to maybe 3 times that they messed up on some of the words. Like they used the word in the wrong context, but otherwise the movie was very accurate to not just the science they talked about, but to how storms actually look and what storm chasing actually looks like. So yeah, it was a fantastic movie. And Jennifer's advice at the end of it all was have sort of like a preparedness kit, like a first aid kit with fresh water and clean clothes as well in your car. And if something happens, at least you can provide first aid. So we apparently still don't know what causes twisters. We don't know what causes we don't know what they come from. Like we know there's, X number of ingredients in a storm when a tornado happens, but we also have the same ingredients in different storms and tornadoes don't happen. So we're trying to figure that out still, which I think they cover in the new Twisters movie.
That's a good segue. If we're done. So let's talk a little bit more about Twister and then we'll go. So this is a Michael Crichton, written by Michael Crichton, who is one of my favorite authors.
Which is why the science is so good.
Yeah.
Because he loves that. And also he had Jerry from ER in the Twister movie because, he likes his people and he also wrote ER.
There's
yes, ER is a Michael Crichton show, and so is Jurassic Park and Westworld. Jurassic Park is actually a dinosaur version of Westworld.
Yeah,
basically.
Which is okay. I mean, he wrote them both, so it's okay.
I can piggyback off that. I just learned 2 new facts about this. I do have a Does It Suck coming out tomorrow for Twister, and I thought it was interesting because they used a Boeing 707 jet engine.
Yes.
To do the wind, on set, and like Jesus, first of all, it makes so much more sense, and it was so well used. I love this movie. And another one is the cow that flies past was actually a model from Jumanji.
Yeah,
that's adorable. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's awesome.
They put that poor cast through so much. We were reading interviews and facts where they felt like they were on the verge of being victims. Like they had things flown at them. Their eyes were they constantly needed eye drops because the amount of wind and debris coming at them all the time was just insane.
They put them in path
they've
storms.
never been on the Twister ride down in Universal.
I've been on that.
I've dangerous. I love that ride.
That's a good ride. Is it still there? I wonder.
I don't know. I hope so.
Well, probably great. Now.
Yeah, it's back.
They do a fire Twister at the end. It was pretty cool.
So let's see. Twister. Yeah. Carrie Ells is in it from
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
But he's
he
a
gets
bad
swept
guy.
away when he gets swept
I know
away
he's evil. It makes me
and
sad.
goes as you wish.
Love to love.
I would for Bill Paxton too. I love that man.
Oh,
I love the casting of Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. Like the tension between them was fantastic. Great chemistry. Unlike
Yes.
ScarJo and Tatum.
Well, Philip Seymour Hoffman is in this as well.
I
Alan
kind of
Ruck.
obsessed.
Alan
kind of
Ruck.
Oh yes, Cameron.
Yep,
from
Cameron
Ferris
from
Bueller.
Ferris Bueller is in this.
Yep.
Yeah,
Let my
this is a packed
Well,
cast.
Jamie Gertz, like she was part of the Brat Pack. She was like peak in the 80s. And
Yeah.
like to see her in this, I was like, why is she not the star of this movie? When I was younger, I was like, I don't understand why she's not the lead. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, she's Jamie Gertz.
Because nobody was mad about Jamie.
Yeah.
Wasn't she just Square Pegs? What else did she do?
Lost Boys,
Lost
Jersey
Boys?
Girl,
Solar
I'm
Babies.
kidding. That was just
Roller Babies. Yeah,
I was just trying to blindside. I was just trying to.
Oh, you were testing us. I see.
I was
yeah,
just,
yeah. And she
I
can
was
play a
I was
scientist.
being silly. So all right, so that was awesome. All right, so let's officially.
Let's do Independence Day now.
Well, no, let's. I think
You're ruining Joe's vibe. Don't ruin his vibe.
we're gonna go now. We're gonna go into Twisters.
Oh, I'm excited to hear about this one because I haven't yet watched it. So
Me
I'm
neither.
also-
I'm
Okay,
so
now
excited.
keep in mind. So I was like, I'm not as familiar with the first movie as you guys. So I thought this was just an expansion of the Sharknado universe. It's like, what if we did tornadoes but without sharks? And I'm like, all right, I'll see if it works. And it kind of did. It kind of, you don't need the sharks. It was
You don't need the sharks
You do
after
need
all.
Glenn Powell though.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
but-
Jennifer did tell us that a lot of scientists and meteorologists from like the national like radar and the
All the
weather network, like all of the
Networks,
proper
yeah.
official associations actually did consult
Yeah,
for
on this one.
Twisters,
Nice.
as well as Twister. But definitely there was more people involved even in Twisters. So
Well,
she was
and-
anticipating the science was going to be good.
I wonder
They,
how
they
many.
talk
how
everything you
many-
were talking about earlier. They explain how tornadoes work.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
just say, the Twisters is as it promised. It's Twister, but there's more. There's more. There's more of them.
It's bigger.
It's
Yeah.
bigger. It's much more. It's if
At
you
one-
come
at
in like
one
there's
point,
got to
the
be
two
more than one
rival
Twister in
teams
this
get
movie.
to get their own.
Yeah,
It's
it's
amazing.
Well,
So
some
this-
storms drop more than one, and then it converges and
Oh.
splits. And yeah,
But how
So
many
I w-
cows, Jeff, were in the movie?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. That's my one knock. That's why I only got a 3 out of 10. Was
Oh.
there was no cows.
what?
You throw
Really?
in it was not one flying cow.
That's shocking.
on.
I
Well,
can't believe they actually missed.
a horse gets
What?
picked up.
There was, I tell you, there.
Not the
What,
same.
what
as
you
a
really
cow.
learn is like, and while some people did die from the tornado, but like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised more people. They didn't depict more people dying from flying debris, which to me seemingly
That's-
would be the real
yeah.
the real danger is flying debris.
Yeah.
So okay, so Twisters as a very, I'll give it credit. First of all, let me just say I loved Twisters. Freaking loved it. It was the most fun I've had in a while at a movie. But in all fairness, I haven't really been to the movies. But like this was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And had a really good time with this movie. I got free passes. So it
cool.
was like, so it was nice. So I got to see a sneak preview, as
Ooh.
the kids say, and not so sneak that they take your phone. Not that. I've been to those. I've been to Spider-Man No Way Home. It was like, put your
Oh,
phone
yeah.
away, put your
Right.
phone away, but not Twisters. They're like, please tell everyone. Please
That's
don't
some
keep
form
this.
of marketing, at least.
Do
Yeah.
not keep this a secret. And I'm not going to. It was great. And I will say it was a lot of fun. I will say it has a great beginning. Great beginning. It really kicks off
Yeah.
great. I will say the two leads are, well, Glenn Powell, who is quickly becoming my new Chris Pratt. Guy crush, best guy in everything he does thing. It's just like he's really good. He was just in Hitman, which I enjoyed.
Mhm.
He was in that Sweeney movie. My wife really liked the rom-com.
I
You know,
didn't get it. I don't know why.
Anyone but you.
anyway,
didn't
I
get
didn't,
it.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it, but he's good. You got to admit, he's good. He's
Yeah,
anyway.
he's a good actor. He's solid.
Yeah, so anyway,
like,
so he
I
was-
know we're in good hands when we see him.
Yeah.
you know?
So, and then Daisy Edgar Jones. So the two of them are very good looking. It's just
That's half the
Loved
battle
it.
right
you
there.
know, when you can combine twisters and good looking people, I
Win.
mean, you can't go wrong with that. And
Amazing.
It's
I-
too much though. They're too beautiful. Bill Paxton was great because Bill Paxton wasn't too beautiful.
Not a
Bill
beautiful
Paxton
man.
was just he's a guy you'd
He's
marry
charismatic.
and take and take care of him, bake him some cookies. I'm telling this for myself. I don't care about any of you. I'm just saying, like that's what you do for Bill Paxton. Glenn Powell, you do the same thing, but it's for different reasons.
Yeah.
I thought they were great together, and I thought she's pretty, but just pretty, not like over. I mean, she's just I don't know. I just thought they're both.
Well-
I don't think they're too pretty. I think they're just pretty enough. Anyway, twisters. There's twisters in this movie. There's so many goddamn twisters in this movie, and they don't pull punches in this movie. This isn't like a G-rated twister.
No,
movie.
it's
I mean,
definitely going.
there's some people that fucking die hard, and I'm like, whoa, like, and not like just at one point where they go, oh, we did all of the cool stuff. No, there was like, woof, like always. They didn't pull any punches. Devastation, all that kind of good stuff. And this movie has it all.
Oh, that's exciting.
I know what I was gonna say. So it was very clever how they tied it to the first movie without really overdoing it. You don't think it's a spoiler. It happens in the first 5 seconds, and if you didn't really even know, you would miss it. They have Dorothy there.
Okay.
right?
Yeah, so
Perfect.
it's a nice nod to say, hey, this
Yeah.
worked.
I mean,
All I wanted was Dorothy and a cow. At least I got Dorothy.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm looking for.
you get Dorothy. Daisy Edgar Jones was somebody who was probably carrying on this type of work on their behalf because she had Dorothy, and she was close. I'm not gonna spoil that part of it because that's important, but Glenn Powell is like the YouTube channel storm chaser guy, and but I love the way the story kind of unfolded. The tornadoes are kick ass. I enjoyed the story. I won't, Daisy's mom is more attorney who's great, but the whole time you're like, oh no, it's not gonna be Helen Hunt, is it? And but it's not.
I'd see Helen Hunt again as the mom. I think that'd be awesome.
And so, I mean, if you want to see stuff get really destroyed by tornadoes and people die in tornadoes and people redeemed and from tornadoes, then this is the movie for you. It's like Twister, but with a
Well, it sounds like more people die. Like in the original Twister, there's actually very little the death and almost no death on screen. Like you see the after effect devastation. You have like the kind of the main character ish that dies at the beginning, and then you have the bad guy that dies at the end. But otherwise, it's like actually they don't show a lot of people.
No, everyone dies in this, and there's no real bad guy in it. There is, but
the twisters are the bad guy in this one.
That was a question I had for Jennifer from Stormfront Freaks, was that like how competitive is this field of work, like meteorology research and storm chasing?
Movie and the second movie.
But she said it's actually they have a really good sort of family community. Like everybody sort of recognizes each other. They come from all over the world. She said she keeps running in from people from Italy and Australia. She sees them like every season, and they will go out of their way to help each other when they can, as opposed to like in the first movie where there's a rivalry where Carrie always is stealing. And I'm sorry, I'm not Welsh. I can't pronounce his name. I know I butchered it. I apologize to any Welsh people out there. Love you guys. But
I've been saying it wrong for years. So
yeah.
Yules.
Yeah, I used to say
Yules, but it's not that at all.
Or some weird
Elwes, I think.
At a Comic-Con, he yelled at a guy who was like 20 feet away for taking his picture from like 20 feet
Oh
away.
no, I want to imagine him as being super charming and nice.
I kind of got turned off by that. So
Well, I
I would
think
say
people
shut
are
the
just
fuck up, Wellesley.
yeah. I think. Anyways,
Taking
so
a
she's
picture of the one behind you.
Yeah.
yeah. So apparently, it's not as horrendously competitive, and I know from my work experience in my grown-up life that researchers can be very competitive and cutthroat to get grants and try to outdo each other. And but apparently, the world of storm chasing and meteorology is a lot more united because it's so difficult to do and there's so few people that do it. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I like that in the second movie you say there's not really any kind of bad guy because it reflects more the truth of the community.
Big corporation's the bad guy.
Oh yeah,
So
Well, yeah,
we'll just say
exactly.
that, like, and not give anything away. But big corporation.
Don't spoil the movie.
Well, in the first one too, like Carrie went
kidding.
over because he got like a corporate sponsor, and that's why he ended up being such
that's true.
D-bag. So yeah, it's.
I am reviewing this next week, so I'm not going to say much. I'm going to leave it to Jeff because this was his review. But I'm going to say in this movie, I found it lacked the same charm as the original.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I don't even remember anybody from the team really. Like I knew the actors and such, but I was like, I don't remember their names. But like the original, you care about the team. You care about
the team, yeah.
Well, Philip Seymour Hoffman just had a way of selling emotion to you. And when we rewatched it, I was like, I forgot.
He's so
like I didn't forget, but like he's just not like I mean, he's over the Rainbow Road, but he brings up so much emotion, and every time his character had something super emotional to say that brought the family and the team together, I'm like, I'm crying. It was, you know, it's hard when you have those like Academy Award winning type actors before they were super huge.
Yeah.
But like you had the best of the best in the original Twister.
Yeah.
Though I do think Daisy Edgar Jones could be that because she's quite phenomenal in a
We
lot.
will be saying that about in the future. Yeah.
She's really good. And I can't disagree with what Mick said because honestly, I haven't seen Twister in so long.
You need to rewatch it.
Do it.
I didn't want to rewatch it because let's be honest, how many Twisters can you watch?
You were totally the opposite. So in our household, there's like a rule that you cannot see any kind of like sequel or prequel. It's like, well, we're gonna watch. You know, my son wanted to watch Lord of the Rings, and my husband was like, not before. We have to watch The Hobbit, all three, and then Lord of the Rings. Well, they buy you the like we go all in.
I don't disagree with that philosophy. Like, if you had watched Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, 3 before 4, that makes sense. But I think this is almost a reimagining of it. It's really not. So to compare the two, I think it's fair to kind of watch it and be able to take it in as its own thing. Then if you want to go back and ruin it, you know, by comparing it. That's cool. I mean, that's up to you. But yeah, that was all right. So
Good to see it.
So definitely go see it. All right. So this is one of my favorite movies ever. ID for Independence Day.
I had no idea that it was referred to as ID4, and I guess apparently that's because the movie title Independence Day had already been bought by a different studio. So for the longest time while they were filming and kind of finishing off the movie, they were just referring to it as ID4 because they had no idea if that was actually going to be the name of this movie because they weren't sure whether or not the other studio would sell them the name. So it worked out. But when this is one I've probably only seen a couple of times. So when I first rewatched it, and that was like the image on Amazon or wherever I was seeing it was like ID4. Really? Is like, did I miss something? Is that like what this was called? But apparently it's been on the covers all the way back. So that's funny.
I always just thought it was short for Independence.
It is Independence Day. Yeah.
I never heard about it until Katie told me. I mean, like the ID4. I've seen the movie
versus an American thing. I was like, ID. Really?
It's literally on the poster.
Yeah, it is. It's literally on the poster. And apparently, I hate Jeff. I never claim to be observant. In our show, I'm the one that misses virtually everything about the movie. I'm like, it was so good. There were people in it. I really enjoyed it.
Natalie's like, there was a White House in the movie. Yeah. It's literally on the poster.
Not for long.
Not for long. Well, if you haven't seen
Well, I
this
know
one, you absolutely should. It came out also in 1996, so this was a competing movie to Twister when it hit the box
Blockbuster
office.
summer.
Didn't beat it, or maybe it did. I don't know. I don't know what was number one. Twisters was number 2. I know that.
Come on, Mick. I don't have my fact sheet in front of me for this episode. I
That
think
was the number 1 movie in
I
1996.
think it did. You can fact check while we
It
go
probably
through.
was. It
Howard
probably had it.
Rosner is on Instagram with us.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going? Have you seen ID4? Did you call it ID4?
We saw it in the theater. I saw
Yeah, I
it
remember
literally
seeing
on
that.
like whatever the 3rd, because it ran up to before Independence Day or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, like Twister, has just about every big name in it. Bill Pullman is the president, which I wish was an actual fact, but sadly it's not. And he's like the best president. Like you just love everything about him. But of course, he can't just have a normal, wonderful presidency and everything can be fine. These aliens show up and just like almost immediately they give a countdown. So I'll give them that. They give a countdown, but then they're just like, nah, we're going to kill all of you. And so what I love about this movie is that the aliens are big and mean and they are not messing around. Like it is immediately there's just this giant fills the whole sky ship and it just quietly hovers while it's counting down. And if it wasn't for the incredible mind of Jeff Goldblum, who is always in all of these movies like the weird, wacky, crazy, yet also voice of reason, where he's like, oh guys, no, they're gonna kill all of us and no one will listen to him because he's Jeff Goldblum.
He's also charismatic and super sexy.
Yeah.
Charismatic. I have found a countdown in the code, in the thing. It's buried in there.
Like everybody who's attracted to men like over the age of like 35 is like Jeff Goldblum.
Yes, Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum.
So,
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
And of course,
but he's so good looking.
And of course, no one believes him, and the president doesn't believe him because somehow they have a past.
Yeah, they have a past. Yeah, somehow they have a past because Jeff
one guy who can save us has a past with the president.
Yeah, and the president seems to be friends with everyone except for him. So it's just like the one exception to the rule.
But we find out why.
We do find out why. It's because Jeff Goldblum's ex-wife or about to be ex-wife, his former wife is like the right-hand man to the president, and so Jeff Goldblum accused her of being too friendly with the president, and so they ended up breaking up their marriage, and she went off for her career.
Punched him out.
Yeah, the president went. It was fisticuffs. Fisticuffs. Yeah.
So 4 members of the cast have had very public mental health breakdowns.
Oh wow, there you go.
So,
Randy,
what a fun fact.
I'm not going to tell you what for. You go look at the cast and you guys figure it out for yourself.
I think we all know about one at the Oscars a couple years ago. But
Randy Quaid, but I mean that's what made his character so great.
Yeah,
I'm not saying anymore. I'm not giving you the rest of the names.
I'll say
Randy
Quaid.
Maybe it's the aliens that did it.
Randy Quaid tried running away from all of his problems in the US by coming to Canada, and we're just like, no. We take everybody in Canada, we're like, not Randy Quaid.
I will say, since we're talking about Randy Quaid for a second, is in Independence Day, there isn't a time that I watch that movie where a tear doesn't come to my eye when he sacrifices himself for his kids.
Bawled my eyes
and
out.
and his kids, finally, can embrace him. I love that.
That was a nice moment.
There's just about nothing in this movie that is unlikable. It is wonderfully done from beginning to end. I like Will Smith is at like prime Will Smith moment.
Prime Will Smith.
He's funny and badass and like in total amazing Will Smith moment. Bill Pullman is great, as we said. Jeff Goldblum is fantastic. Yeah, Randy Quaid is plays what I imagine real life Randy Quaid is. He's like somewhat of a failure and yet really likable and pretty drunk all the time, but still you can't help but like him. And this group of people just somehow are able to defeat these aliens who are again not. Like there's a lot of alien movies where the aliens, come in various ways, and America tries to figure out how to get rid of them. I just love this one because they come big and they come fast, and they're not afraid to kill everyone. And there's the iconic scene where they decimate the White House in this like absolutely like just memorable explosion scene. And this is 1996, so this is really one of the last movies of probably the, you know, from here on out that did not use a ton of CGI. This had like an insane amount of miniatures and, you know, sets and actual like physical explosions and very, very little computer graphics. So I think it's kind of cool. It's a end of an era and a lot of magic in it, and it works, I think, from start to finish. They somehow are able, because of Jeff Goldblum's weirdness, to figure out the limitations of these aliens, and they have this wonderful moment where Jeff Goldblum, who is a weird, wacky scientist guy, and Will Smith, who's like a fighter pilot, badass guy, and they fly together to take everything, you know, to take everything out and think they're gonna have to sacrifice themselves, and it all works out. But their swagger walk back from this like
when they come back, when they land,
is fabulous, because it's so like Will Smith has like Will Smith swagger, and you're like, yeah, that's incredible. But then Jeff Goldblum has like this weird, sexy, weird Jeff Goldblum swagger, and you're like, okay, also good. He's smoking cigars. They're like angry but like celebratory, and I don't know. It's just.
Which could we mention how out of pocket? What was his face? What's the Wicked game singer? Connick Jr., Harry Connick Jr.
Harry Connick Jr.
Like, you're thinking of Chris Isaac. That's Chris Isaac.
Oh, Chris Isaac.
That's Chris Isaac. Harry Connick Jr. is
he's more of a crooner singer.
Yeah, also a singer though, right?
He played a Texan in this though. He had a Texas accent in this.
I was like, why? What is happening with this character?
I know, right? It's like some tires and birds and tires. I love it. I say that all the time.
And Brent Data from Star Trek is in this, and he's
like, so good.
He's so good. Throughout this movie, and this was one of these movies where I have definitely seen this. I've definitely seen this more than once. It's fantastic, and yet this one doesn't stick in my brain the way that like I have a lot of other movies just fully memorized. And yet I was watching with my husband, and he knew almost every line, and he could identify like every single actor, he could name all of the aircraft in this movie. He was like, that's a blah, blah, blah jet. And I was like, all right. And he knew I had no idea how much he loved this movie. He just quietly feels passion for this movie. And I had no idea until we rewatched it.
If I may, and I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I'll just, if I go, we're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but it's the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
I do like the Shakespeare reference.
Yeah.
And I do actually, for me, when the most powerful line for me from the president was, may God and our children forgive us. So this is before that speech, and they went to try and nuke the alien ships, and he's like, may God, because the fallout of a nuke going over, like they nuked Houston like in the movie. And I'm like, that, I mean, like people in Hiroshima are still being born with defects from World War II today. So I thought that line was so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
Hi to Lydia Cornell on Instagram. Hey,
hi.
Yeah. I do want to ask, especially since Canadians are present. Who's a better president? Bill Pullman's character in this, or Michael Douglas's character in American, which I think was the same.
Can we also throw in Harrison Ford in Air Force One?
Sure. Who are we voting for? It's a clear Republican. It's the fighter pilot. I'm telling you that right now. You have fallen.
I hate Harrison. I hate saying this now that you say that, but I think it's Bill Pullman for me. I just think he's so like, I don't know.
Harrison Ford doesn't.
Harrison Ford saying, "Get off my plane."
Yeah,
like he's gonna punch out Barbara Walters. You know, like I'm with him.
That's your president. That's my president.
That reign of Harrison Ford movies. At that
Yeah,
time,
amazing.
One of the
That's
greatest.
true. It's been a while
Also,
since I've seen that one.
When I
but-
was a little bizarre anecdote from my life, when I was about 3, my dad was like, "Hey kiddo, why are you upset?" And I was like, "I don't know who I'm gonna marry when I grow up, Han Solo or Indiana Jones." And he's like, "Well, kid, you're consistent." So,
He
You're in
said,
luck,
sorry,
too.
sorry, kid. Ally McBeal beat you to it.
Yeah, neither
I know
of
she
those.
did. I'm like, oh,
Ally McBeal. Oh, good times.
she's also amazing.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
good comedic
she's
timing.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, this was good. Go ahead.
I did check. Independence Day grossed about 300 and something
Yeah,
million,
it was number
and
1.
Twister was number 2.
Sweet. I was right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
win.
Did you see what number? Okay, let's. What was number 3?
You know, it's
Oh, I
funny
looked it up and now I can't remember.
Mission Impossible,
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
Wow,
you know,
that was
it's-
a big
it-
year for movies.
which
you-
is the
when was-
final movie coming out next year.
Mick, maybe you can answer. I mean, I guess anyone can answer this, but I would just think this may be rattling in your head more than the rest of us. Is when you read off those lists and like you read other movies, like when Ghostbusters was out, and it's just a hitter's row of the movies that were out at the same time. When was the last time there were 5 insane, even 3 insane movies out at the same time?
2018, 2019, just in that time frame. I mean, you have Marvel, which was killing it at that time.
Yeah.
You know, so
And then
Okay.
Star Wars.
Okay, if we remove
Star Wars.
Marvel,
fair. I mean, listen,
Disney was
it's
kicking
hard though
butt.
because all of those things you're talking about became franchises
Yeah.
that became bigger down the line. Now, like
Yeah,
those
you're
are
right.
the movies we really go for. But like, it was pre-COVID.
Yeah,
Definitely
Oh,
pre-COVID.
absolutely.
definitely. Yeah.
So all right, so that was fun. I do want to. Can I just brag about one thing real fast? Is and
Go
then
for it.
I'll humble brag myself. Then I'll take myself right back down to earth. Is I put up one of my Opus clips. You know what I mean? Like just like on TikTok, and where is it? It's like 24,000, which is
Oh,
double
awesome.
anything I think I've ever gotten.
yay!
Right?
Opus.
Yay.
Those. It's
Congratulations.
amazing what takes off of those. But I'm always like, really? That's
Well,
the one
but,
that took off.
Well, the reason I said I will then humble myself a moment later is then I posted another one from that same series that hasn't even hit 200.
Yeah, it's
I
a
don't know.
ride.
It's amazing. It was fun though. I mean, I picked up like 50 followers or something, but it was like
Yay.
it's fun. I've never had one. I've had one that had like 13,000, and that
That's
was
awesome.
like my other high. That was the highest, and that was like pandemic. I had pandemic hair, meaning I hadn't cut it in a while. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you. So,
Congrats.
Congratulations,
That's
man! That's awesome.
yeah, well, and then also, you almost never want to post again. I quit.
I've done it.
I'm
I
good.
win.
I'm good.
George
Because
Costanza
exactly
style.
what happened. The next one
Yeah.
comes out and it's like, no, we're good with the one you already did. All right, this was a fun show. I had a really good time with you guys. You guys,
It was very vertical fun.
Katie, I know.
Yeah, it's really
And it
worked
does
out.
look good. You're right. Hey, Brug, MB, what's up? What's up? Bruges is a Brug MB
In
on
Bruges?
Instagram. Bruges. All right. So what was I gonna say? This was a lot of fun. Oh, plug the podcast.
Well, if you have had fun talking about old movies, Nat and I talk about old movies most Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. You can find us at thevhsclubpod.com or search the VHS Club on YouTube and you will find us. And what do we have coming up? Oh, this tomorrow night, so Thursday, July 18th, 9 p.m. Eastern, we're talking Ferris Bueller. And then the following week, so this is our white whale. We have scheduled our Ruthless People review episode, I think 3 times. And Nat from the very beginning was like, "We're never going to do this show." And I'm like, "No, we're going to do the Ruth." And something has happened every time. It's been like one of us has been sick. There's been like a power failure, like every conceivable thing that stopped us. So maybe we'll do Ruthless People the
Hurricane.
following week. But who knows? Maybe it's just one we're never going to get to do, and that that's okay.
Which, if you haven't seen Ruthless People,
it's such a good
please
movie.
go and watch it. It is so funny. It is
so funny.
like peak 80s. It's like Judd Reinhold
Dark
and
humor, weird.
Bette Midler and Danny DeVito. It is so funny.
I remember it. I remember it fondly. And the one thing I dislike from it, which has nothing to do with the movie, is the theme song that Billy Joel does, and which otherwise is a really fun song, other than the lyric. And after 1986, what you know what I mean? He says 1986 in the lyrics, and anytime I hear it, even though the Piano Man's 1970, to me it's classic and lives forever. But when you actually say 1986 in the thing, all of a sudden it's like
it dates it. It keeps it
I
there.
hate to tell you about a little song called "We Didn't Start the Fire," but he dates that one quite a bit.
Well, right. Well, that is. I mean, it is dated, but
that did have
that had a purpose, and it does. I love that song to pieces, but it does have a little cringe where at the end it's like. And after rock and roll, Cola Wars, I can't take it anymore. It does, it doesn't end on the strongest of history. But then
that's very telling to how society was going.
The strongest of
that's
where we are now.
Right.
In the not the strongest of history time period.
I mean, to tie it into Independence Day, didn't the British during the War of 1812? I think it was in 1814. That's why the White House is white, because they burnt it.
Because they burned it
a little bit.
And painted it.
Now
the British.
Americans don't believe that was a war. So you're talking to the wrong group. What war of 1812?
We believe it was a war. It's just not one worth reading about because it wasn't about freedom and French fries.
My dude. To quote Ryan Gosling from Barbie, my dude.
Was he in it? Oh yeah, Ryan Gosling. I was thinking Ryan Reynolds.
No, well, both Canadian. Without that war, Canada would be either British or American. But we won our. Well, I mean, the British won. Like they kept a certain number of colonies to themselves.
Agree to disagree.
Hey man, we're still here, and we're like one of the biggest. We're technically the second biggest.
How did this become part of your plug for the podcast?
I was just saying we're.
How did we get here? How did we get here?
You're like that older brother that we got to take care of, and like.
Oh, sweetie, we take care of you all the time. Don't worry.
We got to strap in.
We often want to give you guys hugs. Like, are you okay?
Katie and Natalie, you are gems, Canadian gems.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, and we love our American friends because you guys are you're our neighbors, you're our best friends, buddies for life.
Mick Manhattan, remind everyone about the Scene Snobs and all your goodness. Everyone's got good merch here, I'll tell you that.
Thank you. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm always wondering, but guys, we have special events coming up the next 2 weeks on the Scene Snobs podcast, which is live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're doing our mixtape episodes. Our mixtape episodes are always really popular, where everybody gets together and we pick a theme, and then we try to put together a cool sort of personal mixtape and talk about it. Next week's episode, we're doing cookout songs, and we're going to be reviewing Twisters. And then the week after, we're going to be doing actual music, not scores, from horror movies.
Ooh.
And we'll be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. So join in for those, guys.
Oh, I can't wait for Deadpool and Wolverine.
And ladies, you are, of course, always welcome to join in for either, anytime.
Thank you.
And my classic conversations. Check out my podcast if you guys don't mind. I would love it. What else we got? Bill Sheft is on. He was one of the longest writers and stuff on Late Night with David Letterman. Wow. He also tells the whole real story of what happened when Bill Hicks got censored and didn't make it to the air that one night just before he died. A lot of great stories, though. Really good stuff. And thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
It was so fun. I got to do my monologue, which I was very excited about.
You did a good Bill Pullman.
Thank you.
For sure.
All right, we're going to sign off. Here we go, everyone. Goodbye.